all the things that keep you up at night, payroll and HR and lawsuits and surprise bonus babies. When your back is to the wall, like it makes you find a way out.
Hey guys, what's up? Good Monday morning. This is Go Live with me. I'm your host, Joshua Scott. I have Ashley Joves on the show this morning. Say hi, Ashley.
Hello, good morning. It is bright and early on the West Coast.
Yeah, I mean, you are up and at it. You're actually in the office and it's 7 a.m.
I'm in the office. I actually have two emergency patients that I am seeing today. So it just worked out.
Yeah. Are you, good thing? Seeing some emergencies, getting to work?
I think so. I'm getting stir crazy at home with 3 boys, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And like so much of your identity is wrapped up in what we do. I don't know, it's weird not practicing. Like it's so funny because I always joke about being a stay-at-home mom and just working from home or not working from home.
Yeah.
And now that I have the opportunity, I'm like, what can I do in the office today?
Yeah. No, I can imagine. Now, so did these emergencies, did they come in over the weekends?
They did. So okay. I have Judy fielding all of our text messages, all of our calls and emails. So she's been screening who can actually make it through to me. So they came in over the weekend, and I wanted to make sure we had secured some N95 masks and all the proper protection needed for myself and my assistant. And we got some. So I felt comfortable seeing these patients today. And if you're a patient of mine, just know that we're still in communication with everyone. So if you have pain or an emergency, please reach out.
Yeah. No, that was going to be my question, is if you guys had enough PPE or if you had donated it or kind of what the status was.
Yeah, we have enough for us for limited exams and emergencies. Yes. Yeah.
Has California, have they asked you to donate those, or what's the status there?
Yes. So I've gotten a couple emails just last week about donations. So now that I'm in the office today, because we were completely shut down, I closed the office starting on the 16th. Okay. And so now that I have emergencies, I'm going to go through our supplies with my assistant and maybe save a box of gloves, but everything else is going to get donated.
Okay. Yeah, it was just interesting because some states, I think they're asking dental practices to donate those and make them available, but yet they're also like, hey, if you have a dental emergency, don't go to the hospital and ERs, like go see your dentist. And so you're kind of like, well, what is it? Which one?
I think everyone is just flying by the seat of their pants right now. Like Brian tells me all the time that I need to get off of social media and not be consumed by the countless webinars that are getting offered left and right by every company. I think is stepping up, which is amazing. Everyone's trying to help. But at the same time, there's a lot of noise, and you get crippled by the amount of information. Do you put everyone on unemployment? Do you furlough everyone? Do you hold off? And now the $10,000 grant just got released on the SBA website last night. So everyone's scrambling before the funds runs out. So there's this, like, it's like mob mentality. When something happens, it's like, we have to do this immediately or there's not going to be enough for everyone.
Yeah. Have you looked into like the CARES Act and how that affects you? Do you have what's your game plan with that?
Yeah. So my game plan is we're just going to retire. I'm just going to start blogging. Um, so stay on the lookout for ashleyhovesdds.com.
Yeah.
No, but I was actually watching a webinar this morning from Kane Waters and Associates, kanewaters.com.
Yeah.
That was an excellent webinar. I highly recommend it if you are still very much confused about everything, which most likely you still are. So check out Kane Waters, CAIN Waters, WATTERS.com. They break down in plain language what the next steps are going to look like for us. And it was just released, I believe, yesterday. I watched that in its entirety this morning. So I have a lot more clarity as to what we're doing. So my entire team, minus Judy, is furloughed.
Okay.
And basically they said to not jump the gun and apply for this $10,000 grant because the PPP, the Payroll Protection Plan, is going to be the better option if that is a big if we have enough funds in the bank to at least float us for these next few weeks. I'm a hoarder. Brian tells me all the time, so I don't know anything about like investing.
Okay.
And I have doomsday mentality. And it's so interesting because Brian would always say, like, why do you have X amount in the bank? Like, why aren't you investing or doing something with it? And I'm like, I am prepared. I am preparing our company in case of doomsday. And this was like, ever since I opened. I think it's because I grew up, we grew up pretty poor.
Yeah.
And when you grow up with not a lot, you fear returning to that state. At least that's for me. So I have reserves in the bank, which is so nice. And now I always tell Brian, like, yeah, guess who's laughing now? Like I prepared for doomsday. I didn't actually think it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like it really does feel like we are in a movie right now.
Yeah. Well, gosh, that's smart. And I know, yeah, it's like the common sense, right? Where they're like, hey, have 3 months of operating expenses and savings. And I think one of the themes we've been talking about the last couple of weeks is just that dentistry has become so opportunistic that a lot of us were just reinvesting that back into the businesses, whether it's expanding or technology or bringing on an associate or something like that, because the opportunity to grow was so high. But, I mean, good for you. That's got to give you like definitely a peace of mind a little bit through this.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's definitely reassuring that I have reserves in the bank, but it's also like, well, how long is this going to last?
Yeah.
Like, and now there are talks of it being 4 to 6 months, or will it really change our industry forever? Like, are people going to fear coming to the dentist? I certainly hope not.
Yeah. Yeah. We just had that conversation with my team this morning. Honestly, like if I'm being transparent, it was just, we had a conversation when we started 2 Mondays ago, which was, hey, this is a lot of people just lost their jobs. A lot more are going to lose their jobs. I don't know how this is going to affect us. We're just going to have to see. But then today we kind of came back and we're like, so, and we have some reserve too, because we've always been a little bit conservative with expenses. And so, basically said, hey, we're good for April. But I don't know what this is going to look like long term. And, that's the deal is everybody's like, if it goes 1 or 2 months, I think we're good. If this goes 4 or 5, 6 months, like that's what's tough right now. For sure.
You haven't furloughed or laid off anyone from your team?
No.
So I would recommend that you do. I would, because I'm sure you are already up to date with the unemployment and how they are supercharging the unemployment. So everyone is going to get an additional $600 per week. And who knows how long we're going to be in this crisis. And I certainly, I even I myself, who like I've planned for something like this, you just don't know how long you're going to have to ride this thing out. So they
Yeah.
are recommending, if you haven't already done it, to do so, and get that unemployment started, because the government is helping.
Yeah. We've kind of gone back and forth because here's the deal is like we also have a large volume of work that has to be done right now. Like that hasn't changed. So if we lose a team, then all of a sudden like work has to stop. And then we're telling clients like, hey, this project's going to have to wait. And then they're like, well, then like it creates this whole ripple effect down the road. And so we've kind of opted for like, let's try to keep the team together as much as we can, and kind of see where it goes from there. So, to be honest, we've been affected. We've been affected by it for sure, but it hasn't been. It's been manageable to this point.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, we'll see. Did you know? Like, when did you know that you were going to have to furlough your team?
So it was recommended by my HR company to do so, like as soon as we announced the closure. So
Was it that Monday?
yeah, I did it. Like I wanted my team to jump on the unemployment line as soon as possible. And last week there were 3.3 million people who applied for unemployment.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you know? So was that just like an instinct action? Like you heard it from your HR rep and you just got everybody on and did it? Did that take a minute to process emotionally? Like,
oh, everything that I do is emotional. So so if it were up to me, like I'm pretty sure I would have tried to pay people until money ran out.
yeah.
But all emotions aside, like I can't, and that's why I rely on the experts to direct me, because this isn't an emotional decision. It's a financial one.
Yeah.
And regardless of how I feel, regardless of the fact that I've been crying every other day, trying to figure this whole thing out and trying to think about my team members and them being on unemployment, especially before they had announced the $600 addition to their weekly stipend. Like it was a lot of pressure, and it's a lot of pressure to carry on your shoulders when at the end of the day, if you aren't managing your cash reserves and you're not thinking this clearly, then no one is going to have a practice to return to after everything is said and done. So,
Yeah.
So I'm taking direction from the CPAs. I'm taking direction from our HR companies, because if left to my own devices, there would just be a lot of tears and a lot of no action taken from me. So.
Yeah, no, that's smart. No, for sure. And everybody out there on Facebook Live, and we don't have a lot. It looks like we've maybe got 11 on right now. I mean, it's early in the morning. That's going to be the downside. But everybody out there on Facebook, if you want to say hi to Ashley, say hi in the comments. I'll pass it along. Also, any questions you guys have, put them up there. I'm watching them over here in the screen, and I can shoot those over to her. Ashley told me, I said, is there anything that we can't talk about? And she said, no. So she's open for any question over on Facebook. What's been Brian's status? Is he working, or what's going on there?
He is working. He's working, but so my husband is a pain doc. He's a pain physician. And the reason why they're still open is because they do not want to send more patients to the emergency room during this time. So they have actually, across the board, they have 75 employees in their private practice, and everyone has taken a 40% decrease in their income. So so everyone is pretty much furloughed. But he's still at work. He's still seeing patients. It's definitely it's their volume of patients has definitely decreased since the shelter in place was enacted. But it's so interesting. So I'm staying at home with our three boys, and Brian, like as soon as he comes home, he checks to see if our nanny is still there, and if she's not, like sorry, Brian, if I'm telling too much. I told you I was like an open book. So he's
Yeah.
like in the garage, he pulls up, and then he like takes off all his clothes, puts it in the garage, and then he like runs naked up to the up into our master bath, so that we don't like have contact with him, and then he
Yeah.
showers immediately. So and I told him, like, he was even saying like, well, since I'm still seeing patients, should I stay in our downstairs bedroom? And I was like, yeah, but realistically, how long can you go without kissing your kids? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would be incredibly heartbreaking to be at home and maintain a 6-foot barrier between, especially the baby. Like,
Yeah.
gosh, we just want to kiss him all the time, especially knowing how blessed we are right now. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, their office still has all the PPE.
Yeah.
And we're washing our hands constantly. We're very mindful of social distancing if we are out in public trying to grab supplies. But I wonder, I really do wonder how this is going to impact the world moving forward. Like, even after this is said and done, even after the shelter in place lifts, what is it going to look like? Date nights and
Yeah.
restaurants and bars, like, what are movie theaters still going to exist? I don't know. It's crazy.
I know it's interesting. I was just thinking about that this morning. I mean, so there is a sense of like, we're just in it, we're trying to survive, but there is a sense of, you stop and think about it, it's like history is being written right now. And I heard somebody over the weekends refer to, so much of like how they even identify generations can be around significant events, World War I, silent generation, baby boomers. And so somebody was even like throwing that out there this weekend of this generation coming up, like my kid's age, your kid's age, like old enough to understand this, is going to be a defining thing. And how we're connecting with each other is changing so drastically. And how much of that goes back to normal. And there could be, he was starting to call it Generation C, like generation connecting, like, because all of a sudden now we started connecting with each other differently after this time, which I thought was interesting. Denise Kua is over on Facebook. What's up, Denise, with Perch?
And they just got engaged.
Oh, I know. Yeah. 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 Congrats, by the way. I mean, I know I said that on Facebook. Shannon Paris is there. Good morning, Ashley and Josh. Thanks for being here and sharing. Justin Salisbury, hello from Thailand.
Justin. So Justin and I used to work together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And Justin, so I'm going to talk about Justin for a bit. He is one of my closest friends, and this is his second world tour. Like, he left the first time around, Justin, I think for 15 months. And then now this is his second time, and they've been traveling. Gosh, I can't even keep count anymore, Justin. But I was thinking about you just recently because, like, I can't imagine being in a different country right now and not being allowed back into the States. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Scott Mueller says, good morning. And then we got a question here. What were the responses of your team when they were furloughed? Did they take it well? Were they understanding?
My team is amazing. Yeah. My team, like, I already prepared them the Sunday night before that we were going to, unfortunately, shut down. Do our part in flattening the curve. And then we called an emergency meeting on Monday. And I basically broke the news to them, like, this is where we're heading. We don't know how long we're going to be closed. And I wish I could give you guys all the answers. And everyone was like, whatever you need, like, we're here for you, and we trust your guidance. And then, and we'll get through it. And they've been amazing. They, after our team wrapped, they stayed and we did a deep clean of the entire office. We wiped down every nook and cranny, every doorknob for the next 3 hours. And that was our last day as a team. But we've been meeting as a team virtually on Zoom every week. We call it
Okay.
Thirsty Thursdays or Thankful Thursdays. And we all have a drink together, and I update them on what the current progress is with unemployment, with the CARES Act. So it's been really nice to connect with them, even if we're not all together in the office.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And then have you, so I mean, you're in there seeing a couple patients today. Have you seen emergencies during this, or are these your first?
These are the first.
Do you have concerns? Is that a little uneasy, or like, how are you preparing for that?
I think there's always going to be concerns. We did pre-screening questions. So if they have traveled recently, obviously probably not, since we've had a shelter in place, but if they've had any kind of fever or cough or shortness of breath, if they know anybody or have been in contact with anybody, it's scary, but my responsibility is also to care for my patients. Many of them have been in temps indefinitely because we closed, and that's what we're doing actually today. Like, a couple of them have had discomfort with the temps. One temp actually broke, and we have their final crowns, their final restorations here ready for cementation. So my goal is to not pick up a handpiece. So we're going to make sure that we have our PPP on the entire time that patients are here. We've already scrubbed every surface, but we're going to scrub every surface again. I've actually had it so that there are the patients are scheduled 2 hours apart, so that nobody is here who doesn't need to be here at the moment. And we're just going to do our best, and that's what we can do. Like, we're not running hygiene. We don't have aerosols. But we still have to care for patients who are in pain. And so that's what we're going to do today.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. I said this last week. Well, was it last week? Yeah. I was on with you and Michael, the Making of group. And I was like, gosh, you're going into your third year, right? Like, you're 2.5 into it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know, I had this like glimpse of this moment where I was like, man, the stuff you've gone through. I mean, from just the fact from the get-go of starting in, like, doing a startup practice in one of the most competitive, saturated areas, to, having a baby like right after, to the lawsuit that you've been through, to now this. I'm like, man, that's a lot in 3 years. Like, does that kind of stay forefront? Has it felt like a fight the whole time?
I think you're really trying to get me to shed some tears this morning.
I'm actually not, because I know you got patience. So that will.
So if it's really crazy. Like, I opened the startup in 2017. So I have, like, on my blog, I think I have like 1,000 docs. And so my demographics, in case you're not aware, everyone's saturated pretty much. I'm no different. My demographics are 1 in 660. And I know that they recommend not really doing a startup if you don't have, I think, 1 to 3,000 dentists.
Yeah, minimally it's like 1 to 2,500. They like to see 3,000 to 3,500 for sure.
Yeah, I'm very stubborn. Like, I hear those now, and if you listen to the podcast, you know how much I dislike numbers.
Yeah.
I feel like numbers just try to hold you down. Like, I really do. So, interestingly enough, though, we've had such tremendous growth in our area. We've had, if you followed the Smile & Co story at all, you know that I started telling our story, telling who I was and what I was going to offer months before my doors actually opened. And it was about getting to know me and getting to know my philosophy on dentistry and getting a glimpse of what I was building here. And we had, I've just been blessed. I've been blessed. And I think no matter what circumstance that that has been thrown at me or thrown at us and my team, it's just been a testament of life, for one. Like, everybody has their own circumstances, but it's also a testament of like just how you navigate it and how you let things affect you. And so I 6 weeks after our doors opened, like I had all this momentum from telling my story online and sharing everything from the teardown process to the design and like the build out and all of that, which was amazing. And then 6 weeks after we opened, I thought I had the stomach flu because my boys were sick. And I thought, oh my gosh, I got whatever they got. Yeah, no, I got Cody. So that was definitely a wrench. I did not expect needing to navigate pregnancy. And I am a horrible pregnant person. I have like I am so nauseous. Like I would be throwing up in the bathroom and brushing my teeth immediately and then trying to see a new patient. And there were some days where I would actually have to send new patients home. And when you're a startup, new patients are the only thing that matters. But we got through it. Like, I think that every challenge, like it's hard initially, but when your back is to the wall, like it makes you find a way out. And then with the trademark situation, like, so I had Cody, and then literally, I think a year after we had, I remember it being Super Bowl Sunday, actually, Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay.
And I got this email from my attorney at the time, and she had forwarded a cease and desist letter to me on Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay.
And I was like, what the heck is this? So I start freaking out, and she's emailing me back and forth. And I message her. I'm like, literally, can you just get on the phone with me right now? It's obvious that we're connecting because you're messaging me back. And then her response was, well, you can schedule an appointment for sometime this week. I'm like,
whoa.
So that's my whole thing about just being there for your clients, being there for your patients. Like, if you drop something like that on Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday, yep.
Super Bowl Sunday, if you drop something like that and you don't even have 5 minutes to pick up the phone and talk to your client, who, like, so I basically I fired her immediately, and it's just been a process. Like, if you listen to the podcast at all that I do with Michael, the dental marketer, then you know that this whole like lawsuit, it was a year and a half of my life.
Yeah.
A year and a half of legal fees, a year and a half of my marketing being paused because I didn't even know if I could use Smile & Co. I didn't want to invest thousands of dollars in marketing and branding on swag and promotional items. All of my ground marketing stopped because I felt weird going to businesses without anything to give to them that had Smile & Co. material.
Yeah.
So this was, between the pregnancy of like sending home new patients and being like incredibly sick and shutting down early because I literally, the smells that, if patients know about the smells, like you don't even know half of the smells that we encounter
Right.
in the dental chair. And then the lawsuit, and essentially after I had already agreed to this guy's terms, that was still at least a year of our attorneys going back and forth.
Yeah.
Like nothing gets settled quickly.
Oh my gosh, I know. Not at all. Somebody left a comment over here, said, is that where the grays come from?
Oh yeah, and the fact that I can't even freaking go to a salon. Don't look too closely, okay, guys?
Actually, I'm not sure who that guy is. Brian Joves left a comment. Do you know that guy?
That guy.
Oh man, that's messed up, Brian. It's early in the morning, bro. Your wife's
I know.
trying to stay strong here. Dan O'Rourke says, numbers hold you back from your passion and your dream. Just believe it and go for it, which I think is great. Because I think like you can always look at the challenges and maybe what that took from you. You can also look at what was given to you. You have this amazing practice with your team. You have Cody, and just even thinking about through this, like how you're going to come out of it, what opportunities they're yet to be seen, but I'm a huge believer. I 100% believe that there are opportunities that will come out of this. We just don't know what they are yet. And so, I think it's just going to be at some point. I also am like, yo, this is going to calm down and you're going to have just like some smooth sailing and you guys are just going to it's going to be crazy, So that, when you were going through the lawsuit thing, because now the other thing with that too is like now you have complete control over your brand and it. Because that lasted so long and dragged out so long, how did that affect you just personally, your mentality, like sleep? Were you sleeping? Anxiety? Like, do you deal with any of that?
Yes, there have been plenty of sleepless nights in our home. And I think I think I can speak for all small business owners. Like once you open a business, even when your doors are closed, it doesn't stop the work. It doesn't stop your brain from being able to it's your brain doesn't stop like when your lights turn off. Like in fact, all of the thinking that happens actually happens like at nighttime. And this was it was a long 2.5 years, honestly. Like worrying about like the cash flow and worrying about like what should I do now and how am I going to pay this guy, because it ended up like I paid him tens of thousands of dollars that I'm never going to get back. But the name and fighting for the name was much more than a logo on stationery or anything like that. It was my brand. It was my whole story that I was documenting from day one. And from day one, I mean, not even opening my doors, but officially announcing to my friends and family that I was going to open. Yeah. And it was my identity. Like, this was my baby. And I think when any parent can attest to losing sleep about worrying about your kids and worrying about your practice is not excluded in that. So all the things that keep you up at night, payroll and HR and lawsuits and surprise bonus babies, like they're all the things that that you can't shut off, at least for me. And that's why the podcast has been such a good outlet. Like, even though I don't pay for therapy per se, like I think that has been a way to release a lot of my thoughts that I can't even. It's so interesting because like Josh.
You're good. You don't have to cry. It's totally fine.
My eyes are sweating.
Yeah.
No, like things that you don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about with your significant other. It can flow so easily when you think that no one is really listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's hard, and anyone who says that doing this is easy is lying.
Yeah.
But I have a great support system. I do, and having faith that it'll all work out, no matter the circumstances, has been everything.
Well, I think somebody told me one time that, everything that's beautiful comes from a struggle. Like everything that's beautiful comes from something that's been broken. And so, I think, look, we're going to have this conversation 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road. And, you're building something that's amazing. It's beautiful. And there will be a lot of people that never see the struggle underneath it. But there will be those that do, and they respect you a ton for it. Denise made a comment. She said, "You're an inspiration, Ashley. Startups are never easy." So that is for sure. Being a business owner is never easy. And then Joanna Scott said, "Brian Joves, you're in so much trouble." So, so she's got your back online. What and I know you got to go here in a second. What's been your kind of tips for your mindset through this of staying strong, staying focused, staying positive? Are you doing anything like tricks, tips?
Besides alcohol?
We can include that as well.
No, so we go to church, we pray. Headspace, the app, is now free for healthcare professionals, which has been amazing because normally that app is like $60 per year. So having time to myself, and so the first hour of every day is my time, is like to either write down things or listen to podcasts that are not dental related, or just be with myself, like just let my mind wander.
Yeah.
So that has been awesome. And then connecting with you guys, connecting with everyone on social media, and being in the Making of a Dental Startup group, and just having open lines of communication, because we're not going through this alone. We have each other, and it's been amazing. Like even my patients have texted randomly, like just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. And our team is still connected on Slack, so we communicate via Slack, and it's just been nice to just send memes or funny photos to each other. And I think it's so interesting having this downtime to really prioritize what our lives look like, prioritize our families. And we've also, I also started this thing on Instagram, starting a Marvel challenge.
Yeah.
To disengage from the real world and spend 2 hours just watching the Marvel movies in chronological order. That has to be you have to watch it in order, and it's on techradar.com if you want to follow along. But
yeah, not when they were released, but when they actually happen in the Marvel universe.
Exactly. And we just finished Iron Man last night, and it's so interesting going back. I should have worn waterproof mascara. It's so interesting, the nuances that you'll discover when you're watching it in chronological order, which has been really fun.
I was going to bring that up because I saw that and I was like, oh, it's such a great idea. And I got on, I printed it out. I showed the kids. I was like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And they were like, yeah. So then my next thought was, well, let me sign up for Disney Plus because that's going to be significantly less expensive than buying all of them, $200 worth of Marvel movies. So then we log in and get all that set up. And then they're like, oh my gosh, The Mandalorian, let's start with that. So that kind of took over. So we're going to, I think, get through that and then probably jump into the Marvel challenge because I thought that was a great idea. And Iron Man, that's the third, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Iron Man is actually my favorite one.
Yeah, I agree. Josh Ratcliffe says we got which is on our team, and it's actually the designer who designed your site. He said the 88 team has you. Stay strong, girl, from Michelle Caldwell. Judy says Team Smile and Co. is with you, Dr. Ashley.
Oh, Judy.
Love you. So, yeah, I love that. I think that's been me the last couple of weeks. Is as soon as this all started hitting on Sunday night, I knew, I was like, hey, that hour to myself starting Monday is just going to be huge. And so I've been consistent with that almost every day. Just getting up 5, 6 a.m., spending an hour, just getting my mind right first before I jump into all this craziness. That and working out too. Have you found time to get out and get active?
I would like to take the 5th on that. If Brian watches this, he's going to be like, bro, we have a Peloton. Like, why aren't you jumping on? Like, I really should.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to.
I was just going to ask, I'm like, don't you have a Peloton? Like, why? That's so easy, right?
Okay, tomorrow it is Peloton. Look up what's my Peloton name to keep me accountable. I think it's something with Joves. There can't be too many Joves.
Yeah. Do you have people call you Joves?
Like every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And even after I say Joves, they say Joves. I'm like,
yeah, I get it all the time because people they'll call us or I'll say, hey, how'd you find out about us? They're like, oh, I saw a website of yours. It was Ashley Joves, and I'll say, oh, Joves, and they're like, no, it's Joves. And I'm like, okay, you're right.
Well, the best is when we get Jones. So
nice.
They just think that we misspell our last name. So that's been, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even correct them anymore. I'm like, oh.
Just nod and smile.
Just call me whatever. Just don't call me Susan.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, hey, hang in there. I appreciate you taking the time today for sure. I know it's early and probably is cutting into some of your personal time. But yeah, if you need anything, please, let us know. You're not probably the best at saying you need help or you need something from us, but you have a free pass right now, whatever you need.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Just let us know.
And I'm so grateful to you, Josh and Joanna and the entire team at Studio 88. Like, if you guys don't know how we got in contact, well, Michael introduced us, and they are the creators of my website. So if you go to smilingcompany.com, I'm biased, but I believe that it's the most beautiful website. I really do. And you guys hit it out of the park. And if you don't believe me, log on. And they are the geniuses behind that. So you guys you put so much heart and soul into your everything, into your branding, into your websites, and it just shows I'm just so grateful to have met you guys, and we are going to get through this together.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, no, for sure. I still remember that first phone call we had because we were actually at our old house, but I was walking out front. There was a park and talking to you, and obviously you were in California, and then didn't hear from you for a couple of weeks, and I just thought, man, we lost you. But then you called me back. I was so happy. I'm like, oh my gosh, let's do this. and honestly, it was a project that gave us a lot of permission to be creative. And I think I said that on the making of last week, that I think we were still playing a little conservative back then with dental websites, because what we were doing was so different that I think we were a little insecure with that. But ever since your site, it was like, all right, this is what we do. Let's shake it up a little bit. Let's be a little bit edgy and bring something really creative to the space. So our team loves you. You're one of the OGs, always will be. So
hence the gray hairs, the OGs. Does that mean just old?
Gray hairs. I know. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to the day when we can get back out to your area of the country for sure. I mean, I don't think it'll be too much longer. I mean, Joanna and I are due for a Napa trip.
Yes.
I keep seeing all these pictures on your social account of amazing food places, and I want to go eat there with you.
Too.
So yeah, let's do it. That's long overdue. And I want to see Brian too. I haven't seen Brian in a long time. Oh
okay,
yeah.
We'll set it up.
Hi. I miss you so much.
Oh my gosh, I miss you.
You made me cry.
So I know. I told Josh, like, don't make me cry, Josh.
I know, it's so mean.
I just ask a question, man. That's all.
Oh, I love you, girl. Hang in there. You're doing so awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. I wish we were together. Like, I can't wait for us to be together again.
I know.
Yeah. One of these days soon, Napa Valley wine.
Yes.
With Brian.
Yeah.
No.
Brian, be nice to Ashley. Your wife is hot. Love you, girl.
Love you.
All right.
Thank you, guys. And
Yeah.
it was fun connecting with you, Josh, this morning. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah.
For just being so authentic and for showing up in the startup group also. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, and you're such a voice there. So keep doing that. I love that you guys are taking this time to invest in that group, because the startup space, I think right now is a lot of them are a little freaking out because of the uncertainty, and it's like, what's going to happen? But I think the startup space is actually poised really, really well to come through this. And so for you guys to keep being a voice there is so awesome. And you just have their attention. So own it, step up, be that leader, be that voice. It's a great group for sure.
Well, thank you for being a part of it. And you guys take care, be safe, stay inside, and we will do the same.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Is Judy there with you?
No, Judy's
Okay.
at home watching. She's remote working remote.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Well, hi, Judy. Thanks for commenting. So, all right. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week.
You too. Thank you for having me.